Hi everyone, it is Sunday the 3rd of May 2020, and just taking a look at the commodities markets. I'll start off with gold. So gold is not really trending very much on the daily. It's showing a nice little bullish candle off some local support. So a break higher this week would potentially have some opportunities for me heading up towards 1730. It's not ridiculously overextended on the weekly, but it is definitely encountering some resistance, and so any pullbacks could essentially occur in the weekly. But based off the daily, I think it's certainly going to try and head higher. Off the monthly, I still think there's some potential for this to head a little bit higher. I'm still looking for us ultimately to head towards 1800. And so looking for that to be the case, just looking at previous distances away, we've already had a pullback here. So I think there's still the potential. I'm leaning 60-40 towards this, more likely to attempt to continue onwards. And so that's really it. I'm still principally bullish on it, but it's certainly not a super strong trend. But this week I'll be looking for breaks and heading up towards 1730, taking profit ahead of that level, just in case this resistance becomes, this might ultimately become a breakout pattern over a much longer period. And so that would allow for price to come up, and then it would just, if that is the case, it'll just burst its way through. So that's kind of my leaning this week. Silver, no clear trend, looking actually a little bit more bearish, similar to the Aussie charts and the currencies analysis I did. Looks like they might potentially want to head lower, and it's largely sideways on the monthly. So not the best stuff I've ever seen. I prefer gold out of the two. Then having a look at crude, US crude. So just commenting here, a nice little bullish reaction off the 1000 level here, and then looking for or at least off my platform's 1000 level, then looking for, and a nice little bullish inside candle here as well. So the implication being here that price is really keen to do a bit of a retracement, a bit of an indecision candle on the monthly, and an uptrend on the daily. So the key thing is really going to be for this to break through these levels of resistance, but it's certainly going to attempt to do that. And so we'll have, I'll just keep monitoring that West Texas Intermediate, similar pattern as well. And of course, going through and having a look at Brent crude, which actually did a much lower, shallower low. And so this implies, again, for me at least, much more bullish expectations. So I'll be looking to break the high of last week's candle, got a bit of an uptrend. It depends on the strength of the trend as it goes, whether I'll look for trading opportunities at that. And then onto the digital commodities, Bitcoin, still Ethereum and Bitcoin did some beautiful moves this week. And last week, obviously, been relatively profitable. I didn't mention it in my analysis. I missed the most amazing reward to risk trade setup breakout. It was just a obvious trade that I missed on Bitcoin. So very frustrated because I was looking at Ethereum, decided to pass on the setup, missed Bitcoin, so that's frustrating. We're still technically lower highs, lower lows on the weekly, so it is technically in a downtrend, and there's no clear trend on, well, lower highs, lower lows, still a downtrend on that monthly, but overall it's looking quite nice and bullish. Now, if we do have another big market move and we see that a lot of commodities drop in value, I think we're likely to see that reflected here. I'm also looking for price to pull back into nice round numbers and then take another run at those levels. So I am expecting a pullback this week, but also principally looking for long entry opportunities there, and looking at Ether as well. Similar to that, there's some resistance here, support resistance that price is encountering. But overall, principally, I really like the look of these. They seem to be performing quite well, and so they stay on my watch list looking for opportunities. But I'm aware that now it's starting to become a little bit overextended, and then potentially looking for pullbacks into these levels. So if there are, I'll just be super cautious at these key levels in terms of buying opportunities while I wait for price to do a pullback, and then be looking for fresh buying opportunities.